I'm on one of my strolls. I wanted to come on today and talk to you, bring you a little bit of a different message than I did the other day, or add on to my message about, not moving in fear when you start to make your plans. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, this is Find Your Free. I am a single mama that's been traveling the world with my children for many years now. We are currently based in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And it's a beautiful life. At the same time, I'm very tuned into everything that's happening in the U.S., even though I have not lived on the continental U.S. for over 7 years. But I just want to tap in with y'all because there's a lot going on. And I know a lot of people are, kind of towing the line. It's like on one hand, you don't want to start making moves based upon you feeling fearful about kind of some of the crazy mess that's going on in terms of politics and beyond politics, what's happening in the street with all of the kind of state and the federally sponsored terrorism that's taking place, and just how safe, wondering how safe you can really be in that country, and coupling that with the ridiculous expense of living there, the lower quality of life and everything that's been going on over the last few years, especially since the pandemic. I know a lot of people are trying to just, maintain the balance. Like, okay, at what point do I move? How prepared do I need to be? Is it really an emergency right now for me to shift, or is it just the immigrants that they're coming after? If you're native to the U.S., like, is it, just asking yourself so many questions about whether I'm going to be good here. And, for me, like the other day I had come on here and I was telling y'all that I thought, it's very important that, yes, you make your plans if you feel an urge to get out, but do it with a spirit of just preparation, not so much preparation where you're years out from doing things, but just enough, of a preparatory mentality, more so than I'm running in fear. I got to get the hell out. But I think it is important that, we need to find balance in all of this stuff. And right now, things have kind of amped up over the last few days, I would say, with the recent shooting in Minnesota by ICE agents, coupled with other shootings that I'm hearing about and other episodes, other things that have happened, particularly in Minnesota, which appears to be like ground zero for everything they're trying to pop off right now. Is showing me that they're escalating things, okay? Because everything that happens is happening for a reason. It's not happening by accident. Things aren't just getting out of control. This is all everything that's happening in the U.S. right now, the government is orchestrating, okay? It's all engineered. And so they're engineering something that appears to be an escalation of things that is going to push Americans into, fighting really other Americans more so than anything else, because it's almost like the feds are coming against the people. And then we don't know how much, local government will be participating in that and on what side, and because you just really don't know. And so there's a lot of things going on. And for me, while, the fear energy can be, a negative control factor, it can also be one that motivates you to do what you need to do expeditiously and not be dragging feet, not hold on to no fairy tales about things going back to the way they used to be, not hoping that things are going to get so much better in the U.S. because, we feel like, oh, well, we had the American dream at one time. Now, I know people that look like me, we know damn well it wasn't never no American dream. But for other people, they're having a hard time adjusting, especially the palm color people, because the reality of what is really underneath the surface of America is coming forward to the front. And so a lot of them are having a hard time adjusting to what's happening, especially because it's impacting them now. But for us, we've been known. But it doesn't take away from the fact that even with us knowing, there's still an energy of lackadaisicalness, of not understanding just how important it is that we secure ourselves at this time, that we secure our families, that we don't end up trapped and having to suffer with everyone just because we weren't able to see the signs and read the signs. And so that is kind of who I talk to when I'm coming on these days, is those who are having a hard time. Maybe they're in between. They can see what's happening, but they haven't really gotten that fire under them to make moves. And that is kind of where my focus is those that are in between. I've been gone and then didn't have no plan to come back, just because I've never liked the U.S. I've always seen through that. But for those who, have a lot of family there, are super rooted there, have businesses, own properties, and, have all the attachments, I know that it's really challenging to think about just, scrapping all that and getting on with it, getting on to something else. But I will say, but what I've been seeing with the escalation as of very, very recently in things is that they're going to continue to ratchet up. And so I think there's going to be a lot less safety for everyone, not just, immigrants, but a lot less safety for everyone. There's going to be a lot more question marks if they pop off a civil situation. Folks are going to be in the middle of that. I seen the Black Panther parties was out there yesterday. Not sure where that was at, where the Black Panthers were at, running up on some ICE people, trying to block them from what they were doing. So it's just a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos that's sparking off everywhere. And people are going to have to decide which side they want to be on with things. And I just think it's going to get really uncomfortable. I think it's going to get really uncomfortable. And I feel for people who are there with children and trying to figure out how to stay balanced, how to figure out how to stay feeling safe in that environment when it's clearly not a safe environment. I have a lot of compassion for folks. And so I wouldn't want to be there. I only imagine what it would be like to have my children there, as much as I guard my children and am protective of them, like feeling comfortable, having them out doing things on their own, feeling comfortable with them in somebody's school out there. Like, there's no safe spaces. Schools are not sacred. Places where there's children are not sacred. Families, women are the most hunted, the most violated, women and children. I would say men are the safest, really, because they're doing all the damage. They're doing all the harm. And it's interesting because yesterday I was looking at a sister, and she's, a feminist, definitely a purport, she definitely describes herself as a feminist. And she had did a video essay about how this whole ICE thing is just kind of like an offshoot of, or kind of just a result of this surplus of males, surplus of these incel males that, hate women, are mad that they can't get women. They hate, that they don't like anything that's sacred. No women, no children, nothing. And so that is the people that they're hiring. They're not even doing background checks on this militia, this paramilitary situation they got out there right now. They're not even really checking to see who these people are. These people could have, criminal backgrounds. They could have anything. They got these people in the street doing all of this stuff, not respecting the lives of women, not respecting the lives of children, being okay to hem people up and have them sent and put in cages. These people don't have no kind of consciousness at all, no self-awareness. They're like robots. Oh, give thanks, blessed divinely. We're talking about some robots. We're talking about non-human entities, these robocops that they got in the streets. And I'm thinking, y'all, this is not about to get better. That life that you thought you had, where it was you somewhat okay to be out and about, I mean, it's been progressively getting worse over the years. And believe me, I haven't been there. I don't play. I never liked the U.S. I've been seeing what was coming for it for decades now, since I was a young woman. But now it's just at a point, y'all. It's at a point. It gets to a point, okay? It's like, now is the time to really, really get really serious about getting up out of there. And the reason why is because the way that they're isolating the U.S., destroying relationships with allies, destroying relationships with the Caribbean, with this country, with that country, with this nation, they're boxing you guys in. They're isolating you, period. They're making it so you won't be able to get out. I'm hearing about passports, people out traveling internationally and their passports being canceled all of a sudden. Okay, they are doing shit that's going to make it very hard, even if you have a passport, to be able to make any moves when you do decide to do that. So I don't think it's time to be dragging your feet around these things. I think if you have the means, you might not be able to max out your retirement. You might not be able to do all the things that you thought you were going to do. But if you have some kind of means, because you do need means, you're not going to be able to go nowhere without being able to take care of yourself. It's time to go. And this is completely different from what I was saying the other day, because I was like, I try not to promote fear. And I try not to be fear mongering on this channel. I want people to make good, solid decisions. I don't know with the way things are moving right now, if you have a whole lot of time to be hemming and hawing about being able to leave the U.S., if that's, something that you're thinking about doing. What's happening? Are you playing, Bob? What's happening? Well, I guess I'm referring to the paramilitary that's in the streets, not just in Minnesota, but around the country. Oh, okay. Hi, Bob. Yeah, what I'm talking about here right now, and my message is, that I never wanted to promote fear mongering for Americans who were considering leaving but haven't made a decision yet. But I'm getting to the point now where, as we're seeing that they're ratcheting up some of the violence and the levels of violence with the ICE thing, not to mention what's happening on an international level. But, I don't think the international stuff is going to impact the U.S. as quickly as this paramilitary, these beings that they have out in the street, these RoboCops hemming and stealing people and trafficking and moving them around, and how that's going to impact not just, because I know a lot of the FBA people and stuff, they think it's only going to hit immigrants and y'all shouldn't have been here illegally anyway. And even if you are legal, whatever, we're from here and all of this kind of stuff. But I do think that I don't think anybody's safe with that situation going on. It doesn't look good. The response of the feds to the recent shootings and the different thing that's been going on does not look good. It doesn't look like they have any intention of backing off, of stopping all of this, violence in the street. And we're talking about maybe we're talking about, what's happening in Minnesota, especially right now. But it doesn't look like they're going to be dialing that back. It looks like they're going to be ratcheting things up. So I just hope that if you have a plan to maybe get out of the way, get to safety, get to higher ground, that you kind of put some energy on that, put some fire up under it. And stop thinking that things are going to go back to where they were, or there's going to be these elections or these midterm elections and they're going to get that guy out and put someone better in. The likelihood of that is just so low. You know what I'm saying? One, he's not going nowhere if you can't tell. Dictators, they don't just step aside because you vote. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going nowhere. And unless he goes somewhere, in a coffin, and anybody who comes behind him, you can expect will probably be even worse. So, this is because America's fallen. It's just been too long of the U.S. out here bullying nations, backstabbing nations, being responsible for deaths of hundreds of millions of people in various countries. The energy is that it's coming back on that entity of America now. And anyone who's still there and in the way and it hasn't moved out of the way is going to catch it. Everybody's going to catch it. And doesn't mean the whole rest of the world is good either. I mean, we're all suffering based upon these heads of states and how devilish they are and how much they don't give a damn about the regular just people of their nations. So everybody is suffering in a way, but the U.S. is at the tip top. Are there any similarities with ICE and the IRGC? Remind me of what that acronym is, IRGC. Remind me of that one, Bob, please. Yeah, to me, it's just giving Germany. It's giving Germany. I don't think it's going to get better now that I'm hearing about not only the shooting in Minnesota, but the Iranian Royal Guard. Well, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of back study on Iran, so I can't speak to that. But I will say that whatever's going on with that, it's a lot of stuff happening in different parts of the globe if you haven't noticed. Like, they're messing, they're threatening, they're levying threats over here, over there, threatening to bomb this place, threatening to do this. They done went into Venezuela and did what they did. It's just a lot of confusion and madness. Okay, it's a lot of confusion and madness going on. And I think that there's obviously a reason for it. And it's very discombobulating. I can only imagine living there in the U.S., trying to figure out what's going on, being discombobulated. Also, all of the left right nonsense that isn't even a real thing, and then dealing with ICE in the streets and all of this. It's just crazy. It's a lot of craziness, and it can be discombobulating. So I just ask people to really, really take time with themselves, quiet time, to take time with themselves. Oh, whatever, Clarity, you'll be all right. To think about what they want to do. I live in Brazil, David. I live in Brazil with my two children. We've been living abroad. We haven't been in Brazil the whole time, but we've been living abroad direct straight for 7 years now. And then before that, we were only in the States sometimes. We wouldn't be out there like that. I've been very aware of what was coming down the line for the U.S. for many years. I am American, yes. I've been very aware of that, and so I've never really comfortably stayed in the U.S. So I would be there sometimes to help out with family, like when my grandparents were getting older. I would be there, and then I would leave. And so now for the last 7 years, I've been gone. Oh, thank you. You seem really nice. Thank you, David. That's sweet. Yeah, I just come on and do these videos. It's nothing. I don't really care about all of the edited videos and stuff like that. I come on and do the live streams because I want people to understand that things are getting kind of agitated, right? And I would like for more people to be thinking about and putting their plans together in a more expeditious way. So not, yeah, and that was a big ass fraud. You on point with that, Marley. I'm not on the run. I actually have been living happily abroad for years. I love it. I've always had a better quality of life. I always was very confused when I would come back to the U.S. And I would just be confused because it was just such a low quality of life. I never understood what everybody was fighting for with that. What's coming is global. I agree. There's nowhere to go until the Most High comes back. I absolutely agree, Shamika. I do think we don't really know the timing of everything, but you can kind of sense that things are really heating up in the U.S. I'm not there, so I can't say directly, but I do think that it's like ground zero for a lot of stuff. Now, does that mean anyone's safe? Probably not. Too close to the mic. Thank you, Kinky. I'll back up a little bit. Hopefully the sound is better. But yeah, we can't say anywhere is safe because this is a global thing, but it feels like it's heating up. Yeah. And when I started to see that they were ratcheting things up with the shootings and all of that, and we don't know how much of that stuff is even real. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is like, manipulation, media manipulation, psyops and stuff like that. But we do know that something is really off, and it might be time for people to really take this idea of going somewhere else for now serious. And like she said, Brazil, yep, they have a great life here. Never had any crimes. I live in Sao Paulo. A lot of you have never really traveled or don't know anything, like to assume countries are bad and that they're so unsafe. No problems here at all. The only little thing you might go through in Brazil is in certain cities, there might be, a likelihood of you getting robbed. So you'll get your stuff taken, like a phone. Other than that, I never hear about all these group shootings all over the place. That happens in Rio some, but in terms of this country, and I've been to a lot of parts of this country, I've had scarcely an issue. That's why I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm on the streets now having a dandy time. I do my recordings in the streets. People treat me good everywhere I go, and it's a beautiful country. Never had any problems. The only problems I've had is I've had phones jacked walking down the street in Rio de Janeiro. So that's why I say, y'all people that be stuck in the U.S. and don't never go nowhere really are confused about the rest of the world. The U.S. is by far the most violent and terrifying place to be on the planet, period. Unless you're in a war zone, which I would consider the U.S. to be a somewhat of a war zone. Media tried to tell me she didn't hit him with a car. Oh, yeah, Bob, I don't know. To me, what I saw was somebody trying to pull out. I still don't understand why anyone would need to shoot someone in the face, but I still work. So I still work, I have investments and things, but I still work. Yeah, the only thing I've ever had is somebody took my phone. I mean, I'll take that over having to be watching my back every second to wonder if a white van is going to come and try to pick me or my children up. Or, I would take the little stuff that you have to deal with out here, which is mostly petty crime, to all of what the U.S. is dealing with any day. The only thing she had happened, okay, because she was fleeing a lawful stop via running her vehicle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What I saw, and again, I wasn't there, is someone trying to get out of the way. Yeah, whatever it was. You guys can justify it in your heads if you want to. I never will understand how someone would need to shoot someone in the face multiple times. It's just, I will never get it. I've never been to the US. Is that what you just said, Bob? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm from the US. Brazil has one of the highest kidnapping rates in the world. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. Do you not think that the microphone works first, lady? Okay, anyway. Well, maybe this mic is not good, but if it's not good, I'll check it out. But anyway, I don't know anything about kidnapping. I have a community of folks from the US here, from all over the world. Nobody's been kidnapped. We chilling. Everybody's having a good life. Most people, when they come to Brazil, they always end up coming back until they move here. That's how good the quality of life is. I would not even step foot in Chicago. I have no interest in Chicago. I don't know anything about it. I collect benefits, yeah, or get a family member to send her money. Yeah, Marley Bangs. Actually, I'm a single mother who has my own investments and my own money coming in, and I take care of my two children beautifully. And we have a wonderful life in one of the best neighborhoods in Sao Paulo, and it just is what it is. I don't have family like that. I know, Marley. It's okay. I know you stuck somewhere in some shitty ass city in the U.S. and upset about it. You'll be all right, though. Um, Collecting family benefits, honey. I didn't even have family on that level to be collecting benefits from anyone. I'm beautifully blessed and independent and have my two children living well in a city that is, safe and nurturing for our lives. So I'm grateful. The U.S. is way different than 7 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it was. I know, and it's been 7 years for me. It was okay 7 years ago for me, but I have been traveling with my kids since my daughter was like 1, and she's almost 21 now. So I've been traveling with her, and then when my son came, I was married in Senegal, and then I came back to the U.S. and was helping my grandparents and had my baby, my second baby when I came back. And I have my two children now. One is 14, one's 21, and thank you, Mr. Howell. I'm grateful for that basket of hugs, sending love back. But yeah, and I've just been in and out. I never really have been that posted in the U.S., and I'm grateful for that because my kids haven't been brainwashed by all of the stupidity. They're not, they're not, my son is not a thug. You know what I'm saying? He's not urbanized in the way. His mentality is not all jacked up to be, like a low life. He actually is a decent young man. We lived in the Virgin Islands before we came out here. Okay. We lived in the Virgin Islands before we came out here, and that was a good living too. But the Virgin Islands is a colony of the United States, so it's not really the best, They have a lot of issues out there as well. So that's another issue. Did I ride a bike here? No, I'm walking. I was walking. I'm sitting down right now. I'm over here. I'm about to go to my African dance class in a minute. So I said, let me go ahead and do this video. I didn't know how much trolling would be going on. And that's pretty much all you get on YouTube these days. But no, I did not ride my bike. I'm chilling. What makes the U.S. most violent? Well, I don't know. I mean, are you tuned out of things, or do you watch, or are you on social media? I mean, the amount of fear people have around being kidnapped, ICE coming and get them, just being taken, trafficked in general, the unsafety that children experience there, the amount of pedophile rings, the police brutality, the fact that the U.S. is also exporting all of their violence and bombing and doing horrible shit to other countries like they think they'll always be good and nobody will ever retaliate. It's just a very violent, the group mass shootings. You don't hear about that everywhere. It ain't no way. Hi, hey Pamela. Girl, these trolls, I don't know. I will check the mic and everything like that, but I don't know. The trolls is really getting crazy on these videos, but I really don't care because I just come to share. But no, have you been missing out on things? Missing out? Okay, I don't know. Blue said no, not to get there, but just daily bike rides. Oh, do I ride bikes? I ride bikes sometimes. Me and my son We'll go bike riding at some of the local city parks. They're really nice. They have huge city parks with like jungles. So we'll go and rent bikes and ride there, or we'll rent like a bike that we can both sit on together and ride that. Not quite like a tandem, but like a bike where a couple of people can be on it. So yeah, but anyway, y'all, I'm very, very grateful for my life here. And I, like I said, I don't come on to try to fearmonger at all. I've lived in different countries too. That if Brazil is something that you feel like you've been trained to think is not the safest, there are other countries that are considered to be safer or whatever. But I would consider something. I would consider something else, the possibilities of being somewhere else or doing something different, because it just seems like I just don't think things are going to go back to any kind of sense of normalcy out there. And like we said, nobody's saying the rest of the world is good either, but there are places you can go and have a better quality of life than that. Every time I come through the US, I'm like trying to run up out of there. Like, it's just bad. The food is bad. Here we get fresh food. I can walk to like 2 blocks up the road and there's just marketplaces with beautiful, organics, or not even organic, just normal food, like normal fresh vegetables, normal fresh seafood, normal fresh fruit. Like, it's not all of this extra, everything GMO type of craziness. I haven't been there in 7 years. I've been there though, but I haven't stayed. Okay. Well, I don't know. If you can tell me that ice is actually beneficial and it's a great thing, then please share. Oh, thank you, Justice. I am so glad I left. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm grateful. But yeah, KFC, I don't know. I think they might have KFC out here, but I don't eat that, so I don't really know nothing about it. But I will say that's it. I had come on just to share that message because I know the other day I was like, just make sure you're not running, because sometimes when you run from place to place, you end up going through some of the similar shit that you was already going through. But now I would say, yeah, probably want to put a little bit of fire under any plan you have. Just because I realized, and I actually had some dreams recently that one day I will. I'm already gone, honey. Thank God. Some dreams recently that hit me, and I do dream and see things, but I only do it every once in a while. It's not like a regular thing, but there is some things to be concerned about that I think are coming down the line out there. And because I care about other people that are like me, that are from the same place as me, I just like to share on here. I just think that, yeah, might want to, if you have the ability, if you can retire, if you can sell a house, if you have anything like that you can do, might want to consider it. There's no perfect place on the planet, but I think there are places where you can go and at least have like a better quality of life, be able to eat real food still. Maybe you're just buying time, but it is what it is. I mean, that's part of being someone who's trying to survive, and make it in life, is that you make the most or the best decisions for you that will expand your life and your longevity. Yeah, abandoning a sinking cat or the product of self. You should be preservatory. That's silly. That's a low IQ. You kind of slow if you don't have it in your mind to preserve yourself. That doesn't mean throwing other people under the bus, but it means preserving yourself. So that's part of wisdom, and a lot of you don't have wisdom. So that's why you will come on and try to tell everybody else that they're just running and they're abandoning. Of course, I'm going to abandon a sinking ship. What's wrong with y'all? Slow. Far away from blue cities is a good plan. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I just think, yeah, maybe it's that. But hey, oh, hi. Peace and love, y'all. So that's it. I am grateful. I'm grateful for my girl, Pamela, who always be coming through with the good energy. I don't know about some of these people. YouTube has gotten so weird. I was trying to talk to you, but you just straw man and goalpost shift. You were trying to talk to me? What were you trying to talk to me about? I don't know. Now you were talking normal at first, then you start getting weird. So I probably stopped looking at what you were writing. And normally when you wanted me to elaborate, well, go ahead and elaborate. I'll go back and look. I can't see because you can see the messages are coming. So I might mix some. It's a mixed bag. I can elaborate without being hostile. Well, feel free then. Feel free to elaborate. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing every message. I feel unsafe going to other countries. At least in the U.S., I have a better chance of defending myself. Yeah, and I get that. I get that particular way of looking at it. You speak the language, you know the terrain is where you're from, and maybe that's true. Maybe it is better for you there. Believe me, I get that too. I'm not someone, that's why I don't usually come on like, y'all got to get out of there. I usually don't do that because um, uh, everybody's got a different sense of things. And maybe you live out in the countryside somewhere and feel like you can navigate that better than trying to move to another country. And that totally makes sense too. But for those who are, because some people just really feel like they need to get out of the way. And so I usually just talk to the ones that feel like they need to get out of the way, but haven't really made a decision yet. That's kind of like my thing, okay? To help people make a decision and go towards it with some strength instead of, being on the fence. I live in Brazil. America has another year, 100 years, you think? Maybe. I mean, a lot of people who are experts around these kind of things and civilizations and kind of historical reality of civilizations do say that, after about 200 and something years, a lot of them do decline. And there are symptoms and signs of a nation that is in decline. And the U.S. is very firmly in those, they're very firmly planted in that on a high level of decline. So I don't know. Well, I mean, we really don't know. How can you say the U.S. is the most violent when you haven't been here and you don't know what's happening? The most violent. I've lived in a lot of countries, and the U.S. is the one I'm the most uncomfortable and feel the most unsafe in of all of the countries I've been in. Nobody said they've been in every country, nor have I said I haven't been there. What are you even talking about? Sounds slow. You can tell I'm American. I'm a colonizer, moved to a colonizer. It's all colonized. You're right about that. Definitely a colonized land. And it's okay, if you want to stay in the U.S., do that. But for those who are looking for something else, there are better options for you. I've lived in Costa Rica. You can go out there. You don't have to be moving on some colonizer-ish. You get you a little something and be humble and lay low. I've lived in different countries. It's not just Brazil. Brazil is the one that is the most comfortable for me, that I have the best kind of community and has felt and really has been the safest for me and my family. We've just had a blessed time here. Yeah, lots of Portuguese is definitely a colonized, it was a colonized space for sure. It is, it's a beautiful country. It is huge. There's so many places to go. The people are quite lovely, quite humane. That's something that I look for when I'm somewhere, like the kind of humanity of people. And that's something that's very much lacking in the US. It's almost like cyborg vibes and like AI, like people are just so strange sometimes that I go places where I really feel the warmth of other people. And I can say that here is that go visit Saudi and say what you're saying. Oh no, I would never go to Saudi. No interest. No wrinkles. Yeah, I'm older too. I have grown children. Yeah, I'm older. I try to take care of my skin. Thank you, Mr. Howell. I'm in Sao Paulo. It is the most expensive part of Brazil, but it's still an urban area, still a city, still, so there's different types of areas you can, I've lived, a lot of places I've lived have been colonized. But yeah, so Brazil just has a lot to offer. It's huge, it's gigantic. You can go somewhere, you can set up, you can homestead, whatever you want to do. I just prefer it out of other countries that we've stayed in. I would like to visit Norway, bilingual, great economy. I'm interested in Norway too. How interesting. Yeah. Norway, I have recently watched some stuff about it, and I was like, oh, it looks kind of interesting out there. Love to visit Brazil, the more remote areas. Oh gosh, there's so many. Brazil, the size of Brazil compared to its population, I mean, it's such a big country. There's so many places where you can go and there's barely anyone out there. Lots of remote areas. I've been in some. We lived in Bahia, which is up north, in like a very black area, like very like clearly black area of Brazil. And we lived like in the countryside over there, in this area called Itacare. And it was really beautiful. It was a nice life. We should fear Islamic people. I mean, to me, it's a lot of it's a lot of people that look like us that don't even have human traits these days. So I'm careful and particular about a lot of people. I try to just really vibe and see if I'm feeling that humanity there, because it's a lot of NPCs out here. But Islamic people, I mean, They don't have a great background as far as I'm concerned. I'm not into no Islamophobia. I married an Islamic man. I got out of that marriage as soon as I could, but I did live in Islamic countries and stuff like that. But yeah, child, my beautiful home. Okay, not the people, but definitely the government centered around Islam. Oh yeah, no, I don't trust none of them. What? Them culture, the way they treat women. I mean, you can tell the nature of a particular people by how their society deals with the women in the society. The way they deal with the women is very telling. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah. Thank you. Do you own a car? No, not anymore. I bought a car when I lived in Bahia because you couldn't do anything without a car up there, but I ended up selling it to a mechanic. And I wouldn't want to have a car here in Sao Paulo. I've thought about it, but because it's such a big ass city and I just wouldn't want to drive down here. I would let the people that are super used to driving down here drive me around because it's gigantic and it's easy. The roads are great. It's easy, but I'll probably end up getting a car eventually. But I did have one up north, and it's buying a car here. It's a trip. Cars are expensive here too. The most violent, but the U.S. the most violent, right? Yeah, yeah, super violent country. Can't stand it. Haven't really wanted to live there since I was like in my 20s. Like couldn't stand the place. Um, you know, the only time I was there is when I was taking care of my grandparents and helping them out. Mostly, there were other times when I was living there a little longer term, but mostly I've always kind of stayed away. So I've been, living definitely in other colonized parts of the world, but just countries where, like I said, I look for places where people are not so robotic and inhumane. And then of course there's so many people I love in the US still that are just there like trying to figure out what to do right now. And it's really sad. And like I said, maybe it's not for everybody to run and move around, but Sao Paulo is crazy. Huge. Okay, yeah, you guys keep bringing up the mic. I'm not sure because it's going to be very hard for me to do anything different in the middle of the video. It might glitch and cause problems. I would just turn it off, but because of the way this mic functions, I haven't done that. So I will check it, and next time I probably don't have a good signal, and it's just not doing right. So, but anyway, how do I survive? Oh, I have things that I invested in the past that have allowed for me and my children to be good. But I do work. I work. I'll be working online. I have various. I have clients. I work. I have a job. I work for a company. I stay working. I would like to buy property here. So that's what I'm looking to do. Not here in the city because Sao Paulo city is like so big, but in the region, I definitely would like to. I lived in Ghana, but I was very young because, I'm up there. So I was very young. It was like 1999 when I went to Ghana. I was going to Rutgers University at the time, so I was in college, and I did a study abroad, and I was supposed to stay 3 months. I ended up staying more like 6 or 7. I got out of the study abroad. I've always been like a renegade. I wasn't feeling the study abroad I was in, so I went out and did my own thing, traveled all over the country, did my thing. I don't have any interest in going back, but it was nice at the time. If I was interested in Africa, it would definitely be more East Africa, and then they're going through some different things in different countries out there. So, thank you, Cal, because I can't tell, I can't hear. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for letting me know. It might not be the best, and I also haven't been pleased with the mic sound, even though these are brand new mics. But yeah, people just be trying to troll and stuff. Is it easy to find jobs in different countries? Well, I will work for international companies. So I don't work for Brazilian companies. I have worked for one doing like some business English teaching on the side, just like as a side income stream. But I work for international companies because I'm trying to get as much as I can together so I can increase my investments and buy some property and, and get on out of the rat race, just have a business going and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. So I need to be making pounds, euros, dollars for right now. just for that purpose. Because I'm as soon as I can, I'm homesteading. I'm getting out of all of it as soon as I can. And thank you, Mr. Howell. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely very grown, so I guess I could have wrinkles, but I mean, black folk don't usually wrinkle up, that quickly, do they? I don't think so. Parthenogenesis explains everything. Sure does. It sure does. If people understood more about that and about the reality of life, they would be a little bit more delicate with how they dealing with women, right? So yeah. So that's that. You're brave. Love your energy. Oh, thank you, Lacindra, for Amrika. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have always been fearless when it came to, following my intuition about certain things. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't hola to the bay. It wasn't that I always had a lot of money or just had more. It was just like I just followed my intuition. Like, if I felt something, I would act on it, and I've just always been like that. Oh, I'm just looking around. I'm like a head on a swivel type of person. I'm always checking myself. I live in a major city. You know what I mean? They don't do much to you out here, but they real take that phone up out your hand real quick. I haven't had that happen here in Sao Paulo, and I've spent years here in total. So that's a good thing. But I do know people who have had that. But I'm a head on a swivel type. I like to know what's happening around me. You feel me? But but you just want to see the area. Let me move around a little. Okay. So this is just the street. I'm getting ready to go to African dance. This is across the street. You can see that's like a black hair spot across the street. So even though, yeah, this is a black hair salon and they have a lot of products in there, which is nice. This is just this like place. They call it Beco de Negro. And, here um, you'll see a lot of like graffiti. They do a lot of really beautiful graffiti that'll just be all the way up the side of buildings and stuff. So you'll find a lot of art. This is a city that's really devoted to art, which I love because I'm really into the arts. So, stuff like this, my son used to come and play b-ball here a lot. Now he's not as interested in ball, but Miss Black, you still being cheated on by the Democrats? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, so that's some of what's here. Right here, we have a capoeira place and a cultural center. A lot of it is like a lot of ode to in this area to the Afro-Brazilian culture and and just culture in general vibes. They like a lot of arts and culture out here. It don't mean these white folk are the best or that you're gonna be totally comfortable around them all the time. But you don't hear about the cops abusing you down here, not in Sao Paulo like that. I know they go do stuff in like Salvador and Rio de Janeiro and things like that. But here, we get treated pretty good. We're good. You can kind of maneuver without feeling like your life is at risk, especially like as a black guy, you can live your life here. You know what I mean? Without all the extra shit. Okay, check your dog, girl. Check your dog. Everybody got dogs. This here up the street, and up this street is a whole lot of businesses too that are, very much dedicated to, Afro-Brazilian food. The place where I'm going to dance is right up on the block. So yeah, that's some of. I guess y'all probably can't even hear me at this point. Let me bring this mic a little closer. But yeah. That's it. I'm gonna do some tours and really. I'm gonna do some tours and show you guys more of the area again. Let me I'll get away from here. Oh, sure, no problem. Yeah, I love it. Like this is a seafood restaurant up here at Peixaria for people who like a lot of seafood, and it has a very much a focus on Afro-Brazilian food. So here is a very much a mixed place. It's Afro slash indigenous slash just indigenous energy, and they love it. Like the people really honor it and stuff here. But what Brazil deals with is not like the outright racism as much as here. Don't get it twisted. But what they deal with more so is a whole lot of like institutional issues where the black folk aren't let into institutions the way, obviously the white colonizer peoples and their descendants are. So that's what you deal with here, and you will experience some things that'll have you wondering, like, man. But you know, when you hear about, oh, Brazil's so racist, it's so racist, it's because of how institutionalized the limitations have been that have been placed on people of color. But they're breaking that down, and it's coming down. But you know how it is everywhere in the world. It takes time, and you know, these people are greedy. They want to hog resources and have the best lives and have us sitting up just in service to them. So a lot of that stuff is getting knocked down right now, but it's slow. But what you'll find, because Brazil is what they say, like almost 50%, you know, what they call here pardo. So that's like black, but like mixed. And then when you go up north, that's when you start seeing like people that look like me and more, you know, richer, dark skin. And, you know, that's where you really see a lot of them. But they're down here too. Don't get it twisted, because it's a lot of us here in Sao Paulo, a lot. It's just that they live on the outskirts of the city. They don't mostly dwell here in the inner city where I'm living right now. I go live here and there, you know, when I feel like it. So that's it. So that's kind of the way that works. I'm just realizing I haven't had a drop of nothing to eat, and I'm about to do African dance. So I'm gonna get ready to get off of here and go get something. That's a bad move, right? And this is where I'll be dancing at, up in here. It's dope. Yeah, there's a lot here. Sao Paulo is dope because it's giving you all the amenities, plus the access to fresh food and deliciousness. Tons of art, tons of music. You know, they love our music. They love their music. They love world music. So it's like we just get so much access to any and everything, you know? So it's a blessing. Ah, hey, why are you laughing, Lacinda? Where are you from? Are you from Costa Rica, or where are you from? I used to live out in Fortuna out there. Not for too long. I think we spent like 7 months in Fortuna. I just pancakes. Oh, you like pancakes? Is that what you're saying I should go eat? Man, I gotta hurry up. I'm gonna be late for class. Ooh, here's a spot. I can't even eat that kind of stuff unless I make it. And I'm very particular about what's in my food. I wish I could eat some pancakes. You know what? It's so hard. Like maple syrup is so expensive out here because I have to get maple that's like imported. It's like, I think like $20 for a bottle of maple. And I just don't like pancakes without maple that much. But if I make them, there'll be like a little bit of buckwheat, some gluten-free vibes. I'm not really into too much pancakes, regular pancakes. You're in Delaware? Okay. And you're in Dallas, La Cindra. Dope. Yeah, I came on originally just encouraging people to stay with their plans if they're feeling the urge to dip out and leave the U.S. Please, you know, be diligent with that and put that plan together, because we don't know where things are going. And yes, we know the whole globe is going through a major shift right now. But I do feel like the U.S. is kind of in a different position. It has a different role in all of it. And so, and it's just such a drop for the quality of life over the last years. The quality of life just has gone down from what I've seen. Now, mind you, I come through and I stay and then I get out. So I never really stay out there for too long, but when I'm there, I'm very uncomfortable. So yeah, that was all I wanted to say on this video. Thank you for coming on and staying with me, y'all. Y'all are so sweet. The ones of you that are sweet. And yeah, have a wonderful day. I'm about to get me something up in this smoothie shop. Peace.